Liberation greetings to all and sundry, my dear people of Amazonia, the brave warriors of the Southern Cameroon's liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akura. Today is Friday. On this Friday is May 5, 2023. The time is 8 p.m. in Bamenda, and I know it's also 8 p.m. in Furuwa, it's 8 p.m. in Fonfuka, it's 8 p.m. in Badun, it should be 8 p.m. in Ibamut, yeah, and also 8 p.m. in Idibanyanga. So, my people of Mokondange, don't get worried, I'm thinking of all of you, even those in Ekona Lelu, yes, Ekona Lelu, Ekona of the hills. It's also 8 p.m. where you are. So, my people, I'm coming today with a very interesting package, but most especially, note that today is in prelude of a great day we have on Sunday. Because on Sunday, I will be right back here to talk extensively about the referendum. A lot of you have said a lot of things out there. I haven't heard some audios cursing me for supporting a referendum, whereas I was not even at that meeting that took place where they talked about referendum. I'm not one of the signatories. The consortium that I have the honor to be the president of is not one of the signatories, but at least I heard an audio where they were cursing me and my entire generation for being a supporter of a referendum. This woman laying where she is, I know they manipulated her and she thought that I was all out there promoting the idea of a referendum. Whereas a referendum, in effect, is not a bad thing in itself, but just that there's a way to get there. And if you want to know more about this, make sure mobilize everyone for the live show we will have on Sunday. That Sunday will be Sunday, May 7th, and it's going to be a live show just like this one. But at that one, I'm going to give myself the luxury to open the lines on my phone for people to make in calls, so I can get your thoughts, what's in your mind, and everything live on this program. And this is going to be on Sunday, May 7th, and that's going to be 9 p.m. Amber time. 9 p.m. Amber time. Retain the appointment. 9 p.m. Amber time will be 4 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern Daylight Time, United States of America. And so, my people, without taking a lot of your time, but take note that we will be talking referendum on Sunday. And you will be able to know a lot. By the time I come out of that program, wherever you are seated, you will be able to understand how to talk about this. Because you need to know how to communicate about it. You need to understand how we get to it. You need to understand why it may make sense someday at the appropriate time to go to it. And you also understand the inevitability of getting there for some specific reasons. So I'll be here on Sunday, May 7th. That said, I'm here today, and today we have yet another package. This is a very interesting package. Don't dare to miss 1 minute of this recording. And as you're already in here with me, share the link. Share and share and share until your finger gets so tired you cannot touch on your share button anymore. And then you come settle with me. Let's begin this very interesting mass. I call it a mass, although today is Friday, but recall that for those of you who are as Catholic as myself, who always have mass every day, it's true that it's early in the mornings, but this one I decided to specifically place it at this hour so that we have some little time for fun. So my people, don't always forget that La République du Cameroun that is fighting against us is in tears. Let's see their tears flow small.
Oh Seigneur Dieu, éternel, comment économiser ce pays? Dieu viens nous en aide. Éternel, sauve le Cameroun.
my people, after those tears of the people of La Republic crying and calling on God to go save their country, we needed to have some little fun before we get into this discussion. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a very interesting discussion. Don't make a mistake not to share the link to this video. And if you only receive the link and you do not get the alert, then go to the bell. Go to AC subscription, and then by the side of it, you'll see the bell icon. Click on that bell, and you say personalize. Click on personalize. You will resume sending you information. Because like Republic du Cameroon, they are not resting. With all those that work with them, they're not resting in trying to make this platform discredited. That's why you heard me talk about audios at the start of this video, at the start of this broadcast, this live broadcast, that there's the audio of a woman. I'm sure there will be many more out there that really didn't get a chance to listen to all, attacking me for being an ardent supporter and promoter of a referendum. Of course, something which is not true, because I don't recall myself signing anything or sending out any information. On the contrary, if you go to my YouTube channel, when you come to this channel and search, you see an outing where I had Mr. Amin Dennis, who is an international civil servant who came to promote this idea of a referendum. And if you look at that exchange, you know exactly where I stand. But most especially, come on Sunday here, you'll know exactly where I stand. My people, 2 days ago, a young woman called me from New York. And she said, I'm an Amazonian, I'm a Southern Cameroonian, but Mr. Akuro, I want to ask you a question. And I'd like you to be frank about your answer. And she said, why did you have to go out there and proclaim that Ayuk Tabe and all those who were arrested in Nera Hotel were killed and thrown into the sea? Why did you do that? Did you know that it was false, or is that is the kind of the information you were given at that time and you did not verify? Or you just outright hated Ayuk Tabe and the others so much that you have wished them dead? That's why you did that. And she said, I know you must have gotten this question a lot of the times. I don't know what I feel like answering. And I said, no, listen. I will not answer you today directly on this call, but I'm going to answer you where every other person will get the answer. My dear people of Amazonia, sometimes we say there is in life a necessary maladjustment. It is Martin Luther King Jr., the great Martin Luther King Jr., who has a whole day as a public holiday in the United States of America, who made that statement. That sometimes in life there is a necessary maladjustment. Listen, I had occasion to talk about this here before, but I'm bringing it back here. Simply because when this mother called me and asked, I know that there are many people who never got my response, and therefore who don't even know what happened. My dear people of Amazonia, you are all witnesses to the truth, that fundamental truth, that when Comrade Siseko Ayuk Tabe, the leader of this liberation movement, because he was elected leader in Canaan land in August of 2017, when he and the members of his cabinet were kidnapped, were abducted at Nera Hotel in Nigeria, no one claimed responsibility. La République du Cameroon sealed lips. Unlike them, Nigeria sealed lips. For days on end, getting into weeks, there was confusion. There was pain. There were tears. Unknown maybe to a good lot of you. Balthasar Wilfred Farmer, who was one of them, was living with me in the same house in Ilorin until just 7 to 8 days leading to that day. And while he was away, his wife and children were with me. And I would turn and look at the wife and look at the children. all of us were bewildered and asking, where is our father? What happened to him? Where is he? That's the same thing that was going on in the mind of Barrister Yaounde Elias's wife. Diana was on the phone with her on a daily basis. Same thing that was happening with Shufai Bless's wife, who was communicating with me and this entire family every other day. These people were lost. We had all run away from Cameroon into Nigeria, running to safety. Then this happened. And so therefore, where you are seated in the comfort of your house, so you really think that I'll be seated with Madame Tassan Wilfred by me, have Barrister Shufai's Bless's wife on the phone, have Barrister Yaounde Elias's wife on the phone on the other side. The other people are not less important. But it's not that I didn't have their family members so close into me at the time. And I will come on the air jovially to announce that they are dead. Come on, my people of Amazonia. Either we're involved in a liberation movement or we are not. Either we are fighting for freedom or we are not. Either we understand that desperate circumstances call for desperate actions, for desperate moves, or we don't want to understand. But because we feel like it suits me at this point, if I bring this up, it enables me to insult Bakuro, call him a liar, call him names, call him all kinds of things, and you say trash. How many of you ever questioned me why I had to put in newspapers? Of course I did. That Balthazar Wilfred had escaped from Bamenda, was in Yaounde, hiding in embassies or hiding in an embassy. How many of you asked? I did that. Got the newspapers carried on their front pages to save Balthazar's life, so that the Republic will stop searching, hunting Bamenda, and allow him the opportunity to hide properly for the sake of this liberation movement. Instead of being given credit, those who feel like I hate Mr. Crow's guts use it to insult me. I don't know why people don't use it to insult me. They had to settle down on that night of January 17, 2017 to craft that letter that was written and signed by Bobala, appointing Mark and Ivor as interim leaders of the consortium. So that the Republic that thought they had cut the head of the liberation movement off, got up in the morning and heard the strange songs. The consortium is dead, long live the consortium. But of course, everybody said Mr. Bobala was visionary. He knew he was going to be arrested, and he wrote that letter and appointed people before he was arrested. How many of you have settled down and told yourself that Mr. Mbakuro, in fact, that was a very technical move? Because if you got up in the morning of the 18th to hear nothing about the consortium, that was the end. That's all our British Cameroon wanted. But we denied them it. We exported the struggle abroad. Yet, I hear this kind of strange talks. Some even ask me, how did you find yourself abroad? Who was after you? Oh, you had witched that were killed in the forest, or that was arrested and thrown in Kondengi. Before you know that, when the Republic discovered that that person who foiled their plans by appointing Mark and Ivor, that's Mark Bara and Ivor Tapang as interim leaders of the consortium, exporting the struggle abroad. You think that was a wonderful thing that Republic should have been clapping for me for? Yeah, you need to keep asking that question. Sometimes I sit down, I feel ashamed of the thought pattern we have developed. This is exactly why a lot of people who don't have my thick skin will not want to sacrifice in this liberation movement. Because no matter what you do, all people feel like is call you names. Oh yes, it's call you names. I have been on this YouTube channel from time immemorial. I'm sure even by the time I attained 18, 19,000 subscribers, this channel was never monetized. But today when people attention, oh, I see advertisement pass there, oh, that's what Baako is after. Listen, my people of Amazonia. If I want to run a YouTube channel to make money, it will not be to advocate for Amazonia. How many of you are there who have time to watch the channel? Can you watch in your hundreds of thousands to give you the money that it takes those kind of numbers to get on YouTube? The answer to all of this is no. I don't know what kind of God to ask me that. Listen, I sat down, got information from Yaounde that the government of the Republic of Cameroon was divided. Atangaponji led the pack that said they should just kill those people and dump them somewhere, let them just discover their bodies. So at the end of the day, they will say, well, we don't even know who killed them. But there was that pack that felt, no, let us not kill them, let us detain them. That was a decision night in Yaounde, where those who will prevail will determine the course of action. We needed someone to tell us where our people were. And so therefore, I set up a call. I called Chris Anu, who is now president of one of the IG factions. And I asked him, you heard this, we should have a discussion. And I'm sure there's an audio of Chris Anu out there explaining this. And we're going to agree with Chris Anu that we had better gone out there and accuse the Republic that they captured these people and killed them. Possibly they even threw them out from the aircraft into the sea. Because this will put pressure on the Republic of Cameroon to come out, the Republic of Cameroon, Nigeria, to come out and communicate to us where these people were. But of course, I had information from internal sources, international sources in Nigeria, that they were actually taken by the SSS. And some people had seen them, had talked to them, and were making frantic efforts to make sure they hold them back. On the night of January 26, 2017, this information is unknown to any of you. That is the night that they were flying these people to Cameroon. Just thereafter, they had to make this audio to say our people have been killed and dumped. If you recall, go back memory lane. 48 hours after the Republic of Cameroon came out and owned up that they had our people. But for weeks, none of us knew where they were. And because of that piece of information, calls were coming from all over the world wanted the Republic of Cameroon to know what had happened. That's exactly why they couldn't kill our people. So they need to obtain permission from Amazonia to take a life-saving measure. At that time, I understood the meaning of in life there being a necessary maladjustment. I'm proud of that action. I'm proud of that announcement. Proud of the outcome. Proud of what happened after it. Proud of the fact that by taking that risk and going out there to say what I said, it saved the lives of our people. The families were able to have peace. And not you approaching of the family members. They were aware that that announcement was to be made. They were aware that an audio was going to come out like that. I was seated by Patterson's wife when I made that audio. So I was so excited to sit by her and announce that her husband is dead. Anyway, I just wanted to provide this answer. Because sometimes it's important to say these things. You sit, we have serious things to attend to. Instead of doing, we start looking for lights on the hair of a bald man, just like myself. Someone as bald as me, looking for lights on your hair. That's what it is. Well, my people, I want to get into the subject matter of our discussion today. I took this time to answer to this question because it is very important. There are a lot of things going on in our liberation movement. People need to be aware of whatever is happening around them. It's because it has been persistent, and I promised this mother I was going to answer today. That's what I answered. So let's take a look at this. I'm delighted to mention Niccolo, who shared this thought with me today. That peace is not when everyone agrees. It's when we can respect our disagreements and still play in the sandbox together. We want to talk about peace among the various Ambazonian groups so that we attain the lofty objective we are seeking to attain, freedom of our people. It's not because of things that everybody should agree. We are just saying let us respect each other, even in our disagreements. We are just saying bring your various chapters, let's work together. We respect our disagreements, but let us play together in the same sandbox, knowing we are one people with a common destiny. And right now, with one enemy known as La République du Cameroun, who wants simple determination, which is to take back our land. So peace that we are seeking, the synergy, the collaboration we are seeking, we are not seeking that everybody should agree. It's not only when everyone agrees. No. My people of Amazonia, you belong to a group, to a movement, to an organization, this liberation movement. The one thing that you have as objective is to ensure the freedom of Amazonia. Therefore, can we not converge around that? Is that not something that unites us? The simple fact that we have just one enemy, that's like the Republic of Cameroon, is that not a strong uniting factor we can hang on? This is what I'm talking about. Now take a look at this. I'd like to say a few things about this, then I will get into what I want to talk like seriously. Or maybe let me start otherwise. Mr. Tibonagi has said a number of times that the people of Amazonia need to work together. The leaders should work together. The frontline groups or the groups should work together because we need it to attain our objective. I said here before, too many times, that my people of Amazonia, we are on our own. And let us fight like a people who know they are on their own. No, you wouldn't hear me. Maybe now that Mr. Tibonagi has said it, he's not an Ambazonian, he's not a Southern Cameroonian, he's not one of us, he's not Baakuro. Perhaps we begin ringing a bell in people's heads. When he says Ambazonia will prevail, of course, I've always said that there will be Ambazonia, but it will be in spite of current divisions. Oh, yes. That although, when he said it will be in spite of current division, he's saying, although we are determined to keep dividing ourselves, creating new groups, fighting against each other every day, Ambazonia will still prevail. But he said no one is going to hand Southern Cameroonians the country on a platter of gold. Yeah, he said no one is going to hand Southern Cameroonians the country on a plate because of what happened in 1961. The sooner the community gets it, the sooner it can start dealing with reality and making real plans. This was on April 29, just a few days ago. Listen, sometimes we just don't get it. I've said it 1 million times. Ambazonia is real. Ambazonia will happen. Mr. Tibonagi is an American from Hungarian extraction. Is it Hungarian? Yeah, if I'm mistaken. But he says Ambazonia will happen. It's a reality. But it's in spite. If that we can divide ourselves and fight the way we can. Do everything we want to make sure we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, but Ambazonia will prevail. Ambazonia will exist as a country. It will emerge as a country, despite all our division. But he says this. Don't spend time crying over spilled milk. That's what I've said here several times. I'm thinking that is a constant crying over spilled milk that will bring Amazonia. Oh, in 1960, it was like this. In 1961, it happened like this. I had a habit of interviewing Mr. Fundi. The hospital said, oh, people are not respecting me. In 1992, they shot me on my leg. They poured water cannon into my eyes. They chased me to this. And when I hit at the Netherlands embassy, they did. Come on. Nobody has time for that. That's the past. It's like somebody gets up every morning, carries a wheelbarrow full of stones, and you are pushing in front of you going to your job. You will never get there. You will never make progress. You will never go anywhere. That's like you carry your past and load in the wheelbarrow in front of you. That past obstructs you from seeing that future, the glamorous future behind you, because you are hanging on that past. History is a study of past events. We study past events so that it will inform us on how to make today and tomorrow better. Not so that we should hang on it. Journalist Rebecca Tinsley told us that. She reminded us about this several times. Let us focus on what is ahead of us and forget about thinking that this same international system will come and sit down someday and say, oh yes, we wronged Amazonia, we wronged the people of Southern Cameroon by forcing them onto the Republic of Cameroon. Let us go there and remove them. Today, the Republic of Cameroon describes their territory and our land as their sovereign nation, where they have sovereignty. No one will come inside there without passing through them unless we eject them. Take your pen, write it down. No one will come inside that country and tell Cameroon, leave Amazonia, unless we begin to eject the Republic of Cameroon, and the one takes note. And then they will come after and say, let's make peace. When I talk about referendum on Sunday, I'll give you in graphic details what this entails. I said in this liberation movement before, that when we get to that point where boys are selected from men, we will start to talk about liberation. But the moment we allow any Tom, Dick, or Harry, not meant for an insult, to think that they just get on the way and begin theorizing on our heads and banging our heads or getting nowhere. I've said on this platform 1 million times that let us recall we are on our own. And let us act like people who know they are on their own. By the way, let me stop here and extend very hearty congratulations to the Mancon community in Minnesota. Oh yes, the Mancon community in Minnesota. While I was in Minnesota, on April 29 for a meeting, there were spin doctors all over the place who were calling people, Amazonians, Minnesota, one after the other on the phone. You who are watching me, you know you received a phone call. You who are listening to me here, you know that somebody reached you. Somebody will say, don't go and attend that meeting. It is not our group, it's not your group. Don't go there, don't go. Even threaten some and say, if you go, those are cells, you go there, they will attack you. They did all of that. And then they go and sit in one corner and are waiting to see the effect of their actions, to look at the pictures of the empty hall. So they can take and brand it on WhatsApp and say, look at, it's an empty hall. Oh no, it's only our president forever. Our group is the only group you can fool to. Trash! Gibberish! I've said on this platform, and those of you watching me and listening to me will bear me witness, I promote any gainful initiative anywhere. If you are going to settle in the name of Amazonia for good, I will come on this platform and I'll promote you. Even if I will not be there, even if I'm not invited, even if I don't know what is going on. Because every single blow that lands on the Republic of Cameroon advances our cause. And I'll show you why. How? Right ahead on this particular broadcast. This is something we need to bear in mind. We need to know this. If we keep refusing to recognize and understand this, we will always go left when we ought to go right. So I am congratulating the Mancon community, because on that 29, that a good lot of them were informed, threatened, convinced to boycott the meeting we're having, to sit down together, talk for the good of Amazonia. They had a fundraiser and they raised over $200,000 that night to build a community hall for the Mancon people in Minnesota. Wonderful initiative. Congratulations, my people. You are brave warriors. But then, let us ask ourselves this question. What do we gain? We'll put together all that money, buy fantastic halls for our cultural meetings in America, in Europe, in Asia, in wherever. Whereas we don't have a homeland, we don't have a place we can call home. We don't have. That is the kind of money that we should be sitting down one way to contribute and follow up to see that it helps our people back home. People back home need that money. I've said here, today we need $1.5 million getting into the AAC to attain the lofty objective of beginning to tell the world where we are going. Of beginning to tell the world that this is our ambition. We want freedom, and freedom we will get. And in this generation, if you listen to Mr. T. Bonagi, oh yes, Ambazonia will happen, even if it doesn't happen in this generation. But how can you and I be thinking that we should pass this thing on? We can't. I refuse and I rebuke that idea. We will get Ambazonia to happen in our lifetime. That is our sacred duty. Those of you who are quick to throw stones at Mr. T. Bonagi, he talked about referendum and he made this statement. Put the two together, analyze them. When I talk about referendum on Sunday, I'll take this piece of it that I mentioned today and join it so it will make greater sense in our minds. Oh yes. When Mr. T. Bonagi says it, that listen, look, Ambazonia will happen in spite of you. Don't concentrate on 1961. You are on your own. That's what he says. We're doubting. Listen, way back. This paper is way back in 2019. This paper. Go look for it. 2019. Where it says Germany rules out foreign intervention. That's Anglophone crisis. Yes. That Germany insists Cameroonians are best placed to resolve their crisis. You sit down and you think that, oh, let's not go and demonstrate. Let's not go and do this. Let's go and do this. Somebody will come from somewhere tomorrow and free Ambazonia for us. It's a lie. Nobody's going to do that. It's a lie. That was a lie yesterday. It's a lie today. It will be a lie even tomorrow. Let's take a brief interlude so I get some blue water down my throat. Thank you very much, our mothers, for giving us that moment of respite. So, my people, I was saying this. We're on our own. Right on our own. We're completely on our own. And nobody will come from anywhere to change these things for us. Look at this other paper. It's reporting. I'm more interested down here first. I'll come up there. T. Bonagi tells Ambazonians to stop relying on international community for independence. Can it get clearer? Can it get ever more clearer than this? Stop relying on the international community for independence. Begin relying on yourselves. It is so hard for us to understand the need to come together. My people, I don't intend this video to get long, but there are things you need to know. You've been busy, find time someday. Play this whole video all the way to the end. Listen to what I'm saying here. Like I say, I insist. Talking about groups. Let me get back to this. Like you see here, I say, T. Bonagi tells Ambazonians to stop relying on international community for freedom. It takes back to what I've said several times. We are on our own. Just a while ago, I showed you here Germany rules out foreign intervention. Have you asked yourself how foreign intervention comes in liberation situations like ours? Of course, there was foreign intervention in the case of Eritrea. There was foreign intervention in the case of East Timor. There was foreign intervention in the case of East Sudan. But how did we get there? All the three entities I've named had referendums. Don't forget. But how did we get there? This is a subject matter for Sunday. But for today, what I'm saying, my people, listen. When I was working as a journalist in Cameroon, and at the Cameroon Radio Television, CRTV, I learned some very important thing. That like Republic du Cameroon administration under Paul Biya has a very strong belief in the power of time. Strong belief in the power of time. Why do they believe in the power of time? Because Mr. Paul Biya is number one, a sadist. Number two, he's an ardent supporter of Machiavelli, of the Machiavellian theory. He even said in an interview once that the book that lies on the cupboard by his bed is Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. When you are fighting against someone, take time to learn your enemy. I come on this platform every day and people ask me, why are you concentrating on that people can concentrate on Amazonia? No. I need you to know your enemy, know properly their modus operandi. Know how they are resisting, know their strengths. Know when they are crashing. It will enable you to know how to face them. Without this knowledge, you find it difficult. So when there are people who believes in time, why do they believe in time? They don't just believe in time that they will sit and watch time happen. No. They are doing things, serious things. Mr. Paul know that water gradually begins to erode the land where it is, eroding it as the pieces of ground of earth keep falling in it. The water is expanding. It's expanding and it's expanding. That's erosion. When we talk of erosion, look at it inside there. It's a process whereby this water expands. Then, before long, wash off. So the portion of thing is a question of time. So Mr. Paul Biya and his team, while they work on that time, they are doing that gradual erosion. Gradual erosion. They keep taking little actions that weaken you by day and by night. I mean little actions that will weaken you by day and by night. So that at a certain point in time, you suddenly realize that you are finished. And all what you need to do is run back to the same Paul Biya, crawling on your knees or on your stomachs, asking for pardon, asking for a second chance, asking to be reconsidered, telling him you're a first-time offender. That is what happens. Let me put it in another way so you can understand better. My people, don't dump this video. Watch it to the end. Because we need to know these things. It's like in our villages, we have the traditional stool, which is made up of wood. And therefore, this stool is placed in one place. You sit on it day in, day out. On what? On the ground, which is earth. Then termites enter under this chair. And they are eating the wood gradually. Look at termites, tiny, little vermin. Tiny. They keep chopping into this wood by day and by night. And internally, you don't see it outside. Because they are inside from under. Chopping until one morning you come, you want to sit on your throat and you put your bottom, the thing seems, vroom, it's finished. That's the effect of time. They use that because they go gradually. You are there, you are seeing the chest, and you say, oh no, I'm strong. No one can touch me. But on a daily basis, you are going. This is why, my people, I tell us every day, we are on our own. Let's find that people who know they are on their own. What are the things that our Republic is doing during this time? One, let me go back to my experience as a journalist to let you know. Listen, in 1990, the opposition in Cameroon was so strong that Paul Biya knew that there was no way for him. In 1990, the SDF refused. No, it's 1992 years. 1990. The SDF refused. 1992. The SDF refused to go for parliamentary elections. The CPDM at that time had not known how far they had lost grounds. When they organized the election, the SDF boycotted. And so what happened? The CPM literally played on everybody's brain and swept the 35 seats in the southern Cameroons. Elsewhere they lost because there was competition. Biya Maigari's UNDP party, or NUDP, National Union for Democracy and Progress, has 68 seats, a whooping 68 seats. The CPDM party ended with 88 seats. 88. Niccolo party, AGR, had, that's the Alliance pour la Démocratie Républicaine, had 6 seats. So, the CPDM had 88 out of 190 seats. They needed at least 91 seats to get control of the National Assembly. So the Speaker of the Assembly will come from the CPDM. And at the time the laws of that republic said the party that will have the majority in parliament will be the one to name a prime minister. Go and check it. And so the opposition had the majority. But just like our liberation movements, just like our frontline liberation movements, they could not agree among themselves. They had 92 seats. The CPDM had 88. These opposition parties should have therefore had a common enemy. That was the CPDM, that was the ruling party. So they already had, the people had given in to the opposition. If the SDF had stood for elections, they might have swept the 35. I say mine. Chances were they would have swept at least 30 of these 35 seats. Meaning the CPD would have lost a further 30 seats and then 62. But that one was already a bait. But in spite of that, the opposition had a majority. What did the opposition do with this majority? Biya Maigari was the leader of the NUDP party. He could not agree with Niccolo that has 6 seats. There was the CDU, the Cameroon Democratic Union of Adamu and Joya, with its 5 seats in the noon. So the CPDM was able to get into the opposition, disorganize them, and get Niccolo with his 6 seats to cross over to the CPDM and enable the CPDM to get 92 seats and retain the majority. From that moment, the CPDM learned its lesson. And Paul Biya told himself it was going to be over his dead body that you ever organize elections as free and almost fair like those particular elections that produced that result. But in spite of that, he was even still trying, but it was not easy. And so that same 1992, this time in October, Mr. John Fundi of the SDF party won the presidential election. But the other opposition parties could still not agree to join the main flag bearer to overcome the challenge of the CPDM that had lost. So Mr. Biya gradually got emboldened to rig the elections to overturn them. We all know who was the US ambassador to Cameroon at the time, is Francis Cook. Because the US embassy even published on their site what was supposed to be the right results. So Mr. Paul Biya lost. By the end of the day, they pushed it to Mr. Paul Biya. And from that time, what did Mr. Paul Biya do? He went to his book, Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince, and learned the power of gradual erosion. So he needed to start doing what? Dividing the opposition systematically every day and fragmenting them. Got into the major opposition political parties and made sure that they were thoroughly divided. Divided and divided until you could not divide them. I have something in the throat. Let me cover you. Thank you for letting me have that moment so I could clear my throat and be back here. So therefore, Mr. Paul Biya, he gave himself all the time, got into the opposition parties, therefore, infiltrated all those parties. First, he removed Amadou Mustafa and Issa Chiroma from the NUDP party by promising them government positions. Yes, Issa Chiroma ended up as Minister of Transport. Amadou Mustafa, Minister for Special Duties at the Presidency of the Republic. And what was the effect? They said it was the UNDP coming in. Billboard Nigeria wanted to make a noise. They fragmented the UNDP and they created different parties, ANDP and yet another. My people, I'm taking this time to explain this so that we know what is happening around us. So that we shouldn't die with our eyes open. So that you know it. So that if you continue to go in that route, don't say Barakuro knew but never told you. I'm bringing this here. Like I said, watch this video all the way to the end. When you're watching a match of football, it's 90 minutes, you don't leave your screen. Watch this video all the way to the end. So that is how it happened. The NUP of Billboard Maigari now got a nosedive. It was broken, scattered, and everything. So Amadou Mustafa went along, created his own party. Issa Chiroma Bakari went along, created his own party. And then Billboard Maigari was fighting them, battling them, trying to see, I need to overcome Biya, but the NUDP started losing ground. They went from 66 MPs. The next parliament election, the NUDP did not get up to 30 MPs because of the effect of that break. So what did they do? The NUDP fragmented the more, was so really weakened. Billboard Maigari told himself, I don't wait until I have nothing anymore. You have to go see the deal with Paul Biya. One party less on the ground. Now the SDF that had emerged on the day that was resisting, strong, firm, everything. The CPDM sent people inside the SDF, sent people who declared from the CPDM went to the SDF, oh no, this thing was seen the light of day, we need to change this country. But their role was to help to break the SDF party within. When they create a movement, they resign. And when they resign, they are welcomed by the government. They are given a position and all of those things. And just the announcement of that resignation starts cracking the party's popularity. I will not go too far. I'm sure in one place. And so then they started identifying individuals, same thing they did to Charlie Gabriel, so you are the best. You can't be in this thing. And so Charlie Gabriel, who was a campaign manager for Food in 92, the all powerful, had to leave the SDF in anger and frustration that he thought he was not, and went to the UPC, back to the UPC, because he seemed to have belonged there before. But there were still some values in the SDF The government understood that if these values are left, they may continue to make this party strong. They had to finish it. I want you to see how it got finished to the point where Fundi turns around, had to beg Paul Biya to take one of his only greatest protege of all times, Machiavelli, to be appointed senator. So look at this. That's how NUDP got finished. They got to the SDF, started breaking. So in 2011, I created a magazine known as Timescape magazine. I went to Douala to interview Ms. Katwala. Katbangwala. Oh my goodness. Katwala. Short lady. Smart. Intelligent. Sharp to the marrows. Each time Ms. Katwala sat on the TV panel to debate for the SDF against the CPDM, oh my goodness. It was like a professor lecturing other professors, transforming them into schoolboys. Once a schoolboy into small children, pupils in elementary school. And the CPDM asked themselves, how do we get this woman over? They tried all overtures she wouldn't accept to become the CPDM. Now they developed the next tactic. Elections are approaching in 2011. I went to Douala to spotlight Katwala for Timescape magazine, my private organ. When I'm in the office of Madame Katwala, she was receiving a lot of calls. CPDM officials calling her, telling her, Madam, declare your candidature. If you're a candidate, we will stand with you. We will support you. We cannot leave to come and join SDF. You see, Fundi, you are the max person. You are the great one. She sat there. O.C. Joshua had not left her office that morning to remind her, you are doing a lot of things now disrespecting the party because you have become very popular. But stay in line, toe the line, otherwise you'll be kicked out. And she was calling their bluff. And with my friend, I told Ms. Katwala, I said, Madam, this thing they're saying, don't do it. You are tough, you are intelligent, you are everything, but the platform that has propelled you to this place is the SDF. Don't leave it. Stay there. Sounds familiar? Recently, they told someone that you are a spokesman of a certain group. You are talking, or you are doing this thing. Oh no, come on, you are tough, you are intelligent, you are everything, you are smart. You even have a lot of the fighters. Abandon. Come. We will support you, we will give you money, you stand on your own, and we will negotiate with you. Today, boom. See it. I want us to see it as it happens. Don't tell me tomorrow you did not hear this. Please. So Ms. Katwala, they were on her throat, on her neck. So she believed them. In the end, she believed them. She thought that these big ministers, these big directors of the CPDM will resign from government and join her as soon as she declares her candidature for president. Oh yes. When I got Ms. Katwala on the line, I heard she had a press conference. The other said, please, Mama, don't declare for president. It's a waste. Oh, you know, Mr. Niccolo, I have a candidacy announcement. Bam! Katwala announced she was candidate for president. Can any of you recall anybody who resigned from CBN to join her? Ma Katwala, you're watching me. I know you're watching. You're listening to me. Go back down memory lane. This is the Biya mantra. That's how Katwala left, weakened the SDF further. They were fragmented, and she got her own party, whether it was CPC or whatever, of the late Alhaji from Mukom. Yes, she did that. When Paul Abine resigned from the CPDM, of course, I had a number of query letters, suspensions at CRTV, with even deductions on my salary, because I interviewed Honorable Paul Abine. Or because at some point I picked excess interview by others in which he was critical of the system. But he too left. They also blindfolded him to think he was super popular, that he needed to be candidate for president himself. And he'll get a lot of people. How did they end? All of them put together will fund you on his own side. Nothing. So gradually, Cameroon has returned to a one-party system. The effect of the passage of time. The erosion, that erosion that I'm talking about. That's what happened. That's where we are today. Look at the Republic. It's a one-party system certified now. Finished. When Kanto Maurice created his own party and all those things, because when he to resign, they fear if he joined the SDF, it will be, the original fully fear that if Kanto comes, he's going to take over for you. Kanto created his own party. But people have seen that even within Kanto's party, they have caused people within Kanto's party to get out of Kanto's party, the Germans, the Celestine Germans and others, and all those things, to weaken it, and they even got Shanda Tomne, to create another party in Bafusam that they are pumping money into, not because they feel that they want to promote Shanda Tomne, but to use him in weakening Maurice Kamto's MRS party. My people of Amazonia, all this is meant for me to make us understand that we are facing an enemy that doesn't care about the loss of human lives. No. Mr. Pope doesn't care. He has lost over 2,000 soldiers in Amazonia. No. He's ready to lose 15,000, 20,000 of them. He will keep recruiting young people because there's too much poverty. Anytime he says army recruitment, they will come. They will conscribe. And he will send them and he will kill them, but he's counting on one thing called time. The passage of time. They will fragment our group. Look at IG group today, how many? 4. 4 of them. 4. If nothing is done, AGOC is running towards the second group. You hear what I'm talking about? You hear me well. They move in there. What well they try to do it in the SCNC. Back home, they have tried to fragment the SCNC, but 2016 reunified the SCNC under power from Galanfo. Today, they are trying to tell you that no, the chairman of SCNC in North America is independent of the acting national chairman of the SCNC. They are trying to force that. I want to congratulate Community Elvis Cometa and Community Prizo for understanding this and for doing everything to close their ranks. Close your ranks, because that's what they are headed to. They are getting into every. Look at the Republic of Amazonia. You have today Republic of Amazonia, Republic of Amazonia Nationals, Republic of Amazonia up and down. They will do that. That means everywhere. Why? Because Paul Biya in his psyche believes that we will become as fragmented as the opposition in his country and get finished, and before long, we will come back to Paul Biya and start begging like Fruity has gone back cap in hand, begging for an appointment of a senator, a single senator to survive. That is what Mr. Paul Biya is planning for us. If you don't know, hear it from me today. And you know what I don't care about? I don't care. Call me agent of the Republic. Call me whatever. Call me every name. Listen, my people. Go to your dictionary. Type the word realpolitik. Politic, Politik. Not politics with ICS. Real, that is REAL. But they don't call it, they call it real politics. They call it real because it's German. Realpolitik. Go and read what it means. Realpolitik. That's when you do politics with no sentiments, without feelings of this one is my brother from this side, from this one. No. That is bare bone politics. Realpolitik. When I was going to those schools that I went to, I was always thinking how to give it back. Bring it back to the service of the people. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. My people, this collaboration we are talking about, we need it more than we need oxygen. If it hasn't dawned on your mind, go and sleep and have a rethink. I said this collaboration we are talking about, we need it like we need oxygen. Look at, I said, my Mancon folks, and I congratulate them, sat down in one night in Minnesota, raised over 200,000. We can ache our heads for all we can, we are not able to raise money. Because our Republic of Cameroon did what? They planted among us a system that will make us no longer trust even ourselves. That will make it difficult for us to even contribute the money. Because they saw it. That they made a mistake a long time ago. By terrorizing us in such a way that we'll have a huge legion in the diaspora that will become a thorn in their flesh. Are we tapping the potential of this diaspora in the interest of our liberation movement? That is the fundamental question you should ask yourself. We need this money. But now that we need it, we are unable to raise it as much as we want, as fast as we want. Why? Because the Republic has buried in our minds that any money contribute will be embezzled. Because they created those avenues. It's the same thing on ground zero. You heard it the other day. That the government of the Republic has now officialized new gangs of their own version of Amber. Well, they're only going to do what? To terrorize. They will kidnap for ransom more than they've done before. Why have they decided to put it now under the authority of Lele Lafrique in Bamenda and of Okaya Bila in Boy? Because they don't want to trust even that they need. The bill that they have delayed. That they were pushing had been so atrocious with their own versions of Ambers, the way they had wanted them to be, things will be different today. So they want to take things into their hands. So the atrocities of so-called Amber is going to be worse. And who are they counting on? To say that it is us who are killing us, they are counting on us. Because the hatred they have created in us for one another, we spend our time allowing like we need to face but ourselves. That is where we are. When Tibonagi speaks to us, it's prophetic. Because what he's saying is not far removed from the truth. I see we are over 1 hour gone. May take quick music, wrap up in 10 minutes, and all what we had left to discuss, I'll carry it forward. Because I want this message to sink. So my people, like I said, I'm trying to wrap up, but still follow what I'm saying all the way to the end. If you look at this, in 2017, we were all united and so strong. Right on to 2019, we all knew we had just 7 frontline groups. 7, let me name them. Let's anybody ask what I'm talking about. This 7 frontline group, we had the SCYL, that is Southern Cameroon's Youth League of Dr. Ebenezer Akwanga, that became the APLM. We had the IG group. It was one under the internship of Samuel Sako Ikome. Then we had SCNC. Then we had Maurice. Then we had Republic of Amazonia. Then we had the Consortium. Then we have AGC. That's the AGC, the Amazonian Governing Council, that became AGOC. That became known as AGOC. Those were the 7 frontline movements that we had, moving into the Washington Collaborative Conference, at which we had over 7,000 people attending our rally in Washington, D.C., in front of the White House. Listen, prior to this, I'm saying the timing was strong. But in 2017, right up to September 22, 2017, we had just the governing council. The governing council, and we had just one leader, Sisi Kujilo Salim Tabe. And this governing council was a successor body of SCACUF. And what was SCACUF? SCACUF was the Southern Cameroon's Consortium Ambazonia United Front. No, SCACUF. Southern Cameroons, yes. Ambazonia Consortium. Oh shit, it was Southern. Don't mind me, let me get it. Southern Cameroons Ambazonia Consortium United Front, yes. SCACUF. Southern Cameroons Ambazonia Consortium United Front. You see, you don't see AGOS inside because Southern Cameroons covered SCYL, which was the Southern Cameroons Youth League. Southern Cameroons covered the SCNC, which was Southern Cameroons National Council. Southern Cameroons covered Maurice, which was the movement for the restoration of the independence of Southern Cameroons. Southern Cameroons covered AGC, which was the it didn't cover. Then Amazonia covered Republic of Amazonia, and Amazonia covered the Amazonia Governing Council SCNC. Then Consortium was all alone here. So I had Southern Cameroons Amazonia Consortium United Front. Do you understand that? Because someone asked me, oh, the consortium had died, it had morphed into this. No, it didn't. These are the movements I'm giving you, represented the word SCACUF. And SCACUF finally gave up to the governing council. The governing council had a leadership council which brought together all the leaders of SCACUF into the leadership council. So we moved from this into the IG system. What did he do? He didn't dissolve the other groups. It was what now became known as the expansion. That's how we got here. So, my people, you see that in 2017, when all the movements moved from just SCACUF now to the governing council and were all together on 22nd of September 2017, La Republic of Cameroon, they were reeling in madness. And that is why this paper came out to say, good, this paper came out. 1st of October 2017. That was after the wonderful demonstration of force by our attackers. On the 22nd of September 2017, this paper came out and said, l'État perd le contrôle du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. That's émergence. Quotidien émergence du Sépa et la République du Cameroun. 2017. L'État perd le contrôle du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. The government of Cameroon has lost control of the Northwest and Southwest. That's of Southern Cameroons. My people, I'm going through all of this so that we see how they felt in La République du Cameroon. What was happening to them. The tension and the pressure they had in them when we were working as one people. Despite our diversity. It's not because the groups were not existing, they were existing. But we formed SCACUF, Southern Cameroons Ambazonia Consortium United Front, covering APL and of STYL. The IG was not part of it at the time because the IG did not exist. So there were 6 groups. But in 2018 or in 2019, that was 2019, yeah, 2018, 2000, it was the Washington Collaboration Conference of 2018. We did therefore recognize the IG as one of the groups because it also emerged. That's why it became the 7th to make up the 7 groups. Today, how many groups do we have? Can somebody tell me the number of groups that we have today? They don't tell you, but the groups are mushrooming every day. Mushrooming every day. IG alone has become now 4. You have new groups. I don't want to call their names so that some people don't think that I'm denigrating them or insulting them. That's not my intention. But what you say here is let us recognize when we were a closely united people who were too strong. The groups were not dissolved. No. But we came together to collaborate in sincerity. Yeah. And that time, you see, when Barrister Muna spoke, because he was still alive, right up to this time, he died much time, sometime after. He said the gouvernement a peur de discuter avec les sécessionnistes. We were afraid to the Cameroon government. We still are. But just that our teeth are going blunt, folks. We still are. But our teeth are going blunt. Blunt. Yes. Why should I say? Don't give up. Good things come to those who believe. Better things come to those who are patient. Best things come to those who don't give up. We have to settle down and we will think. Let us think again over those things that worked. Those things that made us strong. Those things that make us to be a terror to the Republic du Cameroon. Let's go back to them. Because the Republic du Cameroon, you hear them, they're already trying to promote, oh, normalcy is returning. Oh, gradually, here it is coming. Oh, this, until you see people say, shouldn't the elites or the MPs, the mayors, and all go back to their various localities, normalcy coming. That is Mr. Paul Biya's mantra, the effect of the passage of time. We must deny Paul Biya this. We must. And there are people who like us so much, who want to see Ambazonia happen, like Tibonagi. Tell us this fundamental truth in our eyes. That is why Rebecca Tinsley will tell us this in our eyes. Oh yes, Ambazonia will prevail, but it will be in spite of current divisions. Yeah. So even if we keep eating ourselves up, one day there will be Ambazonia. But will it be in our lifetime? Question you should ask yourself. But he says the message that we all need to know and hear. No one is going to hand Southern Cameroonians a country on a plate because of what happened in 1961. Forget about history. What are we doing now? The sooner the community gets it, the sooner it can start dealing with reality and making real plans. Yeah, keyword, real plans. Are we making any real plans? The only plan we have now is promoting our groups, fighting other groups, demonstrating that other group doesn't have support, doesn't have followers. My group is the best. That's the only plan we have now. We had better come together, settle down, and that's the purpose of the AAC. And start reasoning meaningfully, start taking real action. I want to congratulate those who constantly come to the Ambazonia Relief Fund account and make contributions even when I don't ask. Because we keep needing this money. But listen, we need real money to do real things, to change the face of things. We have given the Republic of Cameroon a run for their money, a serious run for their money to get Cameroon where they are today. Look at, today is the 5th, I'll talk about this again on Sunday, it's the 5th of May. On May 10, La Republic of Cameroon is going to traverse one of the most difficult moments of the history of this liberation movement. Why? Because all the subcontractors of the electricity company, Eneo, whether call it AES, Sonel, or call it Eneo, whatsoever, they have announced a strike beginning on the 10th. The subcontractors, listen, the way the thing operates today, subcontractors are in charge of various grids all over the country. They say Eneo is owing them 110 billion in CFA, 110 billions in CFA. And Enyo says he's unable to pay them because the government and other government agencies are owing Enyo 163 billion. If the government does not pay Enyo this money, Enyo will be unable to pay its subcontractors. And the subcontractors say if Enyo doesn't pay them by the 10th of May, they are going on a nationwide strike. Darkness is returning to the land. Why is that bringing these difficulties? Why are they unable to pay Enyo for the energy used in government offices and government agencies? Because the Republic will spend 6 billion every month to maintain their occupational presence in Amazonia. That's how strong we are. All we need to do is finish the job. Yes, that's all we need to do. Finish the job. Darkness is coming on the land. All we need to do is finish the job. And there is no better way of finishing this job than coming together at the AAC to make sure we end it. You're not coming because your group is weak. No. In the African proverb, they say, when you're invited for a party at your king's man's compound, it's not because you cannot afford the food in your house. Why are they inviting you? Because of that togetherness. Because when you're together, there's a feast. Everybody enjoys. What have tasted different when you're alone will taste different when you're with people. That's the mantra. My people, working together we will overcome. Don't waste your time trying to throw stones at people left, right, up, down, middle, center. We will overcome. We will make it quick, and we will see it in this generation if we simply do what we need to do. And what we need to do is unique. Work together. So I'll be back here on Sunday when it will be 9 p.m. Amber time and 4 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss this rendezvous. To God be the glory.